The Japanese otaku culture news site, Akiba Saukan, revealed the result for most favorite Isekai. The poll was carried out between April 1st and April 17, 2019, with total number of 9,342 votes. Restaurant to Another World is a Japanese light novel series written by Junpei Inuzuka, with illustrations by Katsumi Inami. Shifune released 5 volumes of the series. An anime television series adaptation by Silverlink aired from July 3 to September 18, 2017. The Western restaurant Mikoya is a restaurant situated in a mundane corner of an undisclosed Tokyo shopping district which offers a lot of Japanese versions of Western dishes. It opens during usual business hours, though closed during holidays and weekends. But secretly it is also open on Saturdays, as on this particular day it creates doorways to another world inhabited by elves, dragons, animal men, and other fantastic creatures, who enter the restaurant and partake of its exotic food, with many of them becoming regular patrons. No Life is a Japanese light novel series written by Yukamiya. Sora and Shiro are 2 hikikomori step-siblings who are known in the online gaming world as Blank, an undefeated group of gamers. One day, they are challenged to a game of chess by Tet, a god from another reality. The 2 are victorious and are offered to live in a world that centers around games. They accept, believing it to be a joke, and are summoned to a reality known as Disboard. There, a spell known as the 10 Pledges prevents the citizens of Disboard from inflicting harm on one another, forcing them to resolve their differences by gambling with games whose rules and rewards are magically enforced. In-game, rule enforcement only occurs when the method of cheating is acknowledged and doubted by the opponent, allowing players to cheat through discrete methods. Sora and Shiro traverse to Elkia, the nation inhabited by humans, and befriend the Duchess Stephanie Dola. Learning about Elkia's decline, the 2 participate in a tournament to determine the next ruler. After winning the crown, they earn the right to challenge the Disboard's other species as humanity's representative. Their next goal is to conquer all 16 species, in order to challenge Tet to a game. As of the 6th volume, 5 of the 16 are under their control. The Rising of the Shield Hero, Tate no Yusha no Nariagari, is a Japanese light novel series, written by Aneko Usagi. The Fumi Iwatani, an easygoing Japanese youth, was summoned into a parallel world along with 3 other young men from parallel universes, to become the world's cardinal heroes, and fight interdimensional hordes of monsters, called waves. Each of the heroes were respectively equipped with their own legendary equipment when summoned. The Fumi happened to receive the legendary shield, the sole defensive equipment, while the other heroes received sword, a spear, and a bow, weapons meant for attack. Unlike the other heroes who are fully supported by the kingdom, and gain several strong allies each, the Fumi's luck turns to the worse after his single companion, revealed to be the kingdom's princess, betrays him, steals all his belongings, and leaves him devoid of all assistance and supplies after she falsely accuses him of sexually assaulting her. Mocked by the nobility and shunned by everyone from his fellow heroes to peasants, a now cynical Nifumi is forced to train as a hero alone, while working to make ends meet, until he buys from a slave trader a young tanuki, demi-human girl named Raphtalia, and an egg that hatches into a bird-like monster whom he names Philo, both quickly growing into adulthood and becoming powerful warriors under his care. As they little by little gain the trust and gratitude of the people with their heroic actions, the Fumi and his companions work together to carry out their mission as saviors as they unravel the mystery of the waves and the reason why they are a threat not only to their world, but to other worlds as well. In Another World, with My Smartphone, is a Japanese light novel series, written by Patora Fuihara, and illustrated by Eiji Usatsuka. 15-year-old Taoya Mochizuki is accidentally killed by God. As an apology, God allows him to be resurrected, But since he cannot send him back to his old world, he instead reincarnates him into a fantasy world, along with a single special request. Taoya uses his request in order to bring his smartphone into the new world with him, which God modifies. As such, while Taoya cannot contact his old world with it, the phone can be easily recharged by magic and can otherwise function, such as accessing data from the old world, and can use relevant features for his new world, such as the GPS function to locations, which are comprehensively identified on it. God also greatly amplifies Taoya's physical, magical, and cognitive abilities to a certain degree as a further apology for the inconvenience of killing him. Taking full advantage of a second chance at life, Taoya befriends many different people, mainly females, and high-ranking people in the new world. He begins to travel from country to country, solving political disputes, minor quests, and nonchalantly enjoying himself with his newfound allies. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, is a Japanese light novel series, written by Tappei Nagatsuki, and illustrated by Shinichiro Otsuka. Suddenly, high school student Natsuki Subaru has been summoned to another world on the way back from the convenience store. With the biggest crisis of his life, being summoned to another world, and no sign of the one who summoned him, things become worse when he is attacked. However, when he is saved by a mysterious silver-haired girl with a fairy cat, Subaru cooperates with the girl to return the favor. When they finally manage to get a clue, Subaru and the girl are attacked and killed by someone. Subaru then awakens in the place he was summoned, and notices he gained the ability returned by death. Subara is a helpless boy that only has the ability to rewind time by dying. Despite the despair, can he rewrite history and save that girl from a fated death? The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is a Japanese fantasy light novel series, written by Fuse, and illustrated by Mitzvah. Satoru Mikami is an ordinary 37-year-old corporate worker living in Tokyo. He is almost content with his monotonous life, despite the fact that he doesn't have a girlfriend. During a casual encounter with his colleague, an assailant pops out of nowhere and stabs him. While succumbing to his injuries, a mysterious voice echoes in his mind and recites a series of commands, which he could not make sense of. After regaining consciousness, Satoru discovers that he has been reincarnated as a slime in an unfamiliar world. At the same time, he also acquires newfound skills, particularly the ability called Predator, which allows him to devour anything and mimic its appearance and skills. He stumbles upon Veldora, a catastrophe-level storm dragon, who is sealed for 300 years for reducing a town to ashes. Feeling sorry for him, Satoru befriends the dragon, promising to help him in destroying the seal. In return, Veldora bestows upon him the name Rimuru Tempest, to grant him divine protection. Now free from his stale past life, Rimuru embarks on a quest to prove his worth. As he starts to get used to his current physique, word of his weird accomplishments start to spread like wildfire across the world, changing his fate completely. Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, is a Japanese light novel series, written by Natsume Katsuki. Following an untimely and embarrassing death, Kazuma Sato, a Japanese teenager shut in it, beats a goddess named Aqua, who offers to reincarnate him in a parallel world with MMORPG elements, where he can go on adventures and battle monsters. Despite being offered a superpowered item or ability to use in this new world, Kazuma, following some provocation, chooses Aqua herself to accompany him to the town of Axel, quickly finding her absent-mindedness to be less than beneficial. With Aqua unable to return to the afterlife until the Devil King is defeated, the two form a party and recruit 2 other members: an explosion-obsessed magician named Megaman, and a masochistic crusader named Darkness. Due to the party's dysfunctional abilities, Kazuma quickly gives up on the idea of defeating the Devil King, and tries to live a comfortable lifestyle, only to find the circumstances of his daily life are forcing him and his party to encounter and battle the Devil King's generals.